Thanks for watching Four Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and I'm back for a retrospective on Iron Fist Volume 1, Number 7. We are rolling on these retrospectives, both Iron Fist Volume 1 and Marvel Knights Spider-Man. But today it's Iron Fist, and this just picks up from the cliffhanger of issue 6, where Iron Fist was about to get his melon lopped off by a giant Ginsu. And I tell you, from the opening page, a young John Byrne, this was a masterful for a young guy, at least an honorable attempt at a difficult perspective. The guy is holding the, if you remember the splash page from last time, the end splash page, go back and look at it again. The swordsman is holding his scimitar-like sword over his head, okay? And that's what you get. You get that look from the rear, as if you're looking from the back of the guy's head over his head. And it's not I'll give you a moment. It's not bad. It's not a bad take. It's kind of unusual. I don't think I've ever seen that take in a comic book before. And so it was very cool. And plus just an awesome John Byrne splash page. And from there, the action this was almost except for a couple of scene changes to Misty Knight and such, this was almost all action, and it was a lot of fun. And so there's this great, also on the third page, this great splash page where Colleen, now free of her conditioning by Angar the Screamer, comes to Danny's rescue there and hits him with the, she says, basically, be thankful I'm hitting you with a scabbarded sword, not with the naked blade. Look at how far, though, that goes up into his ribs. In truth, he would have been impaled, but it looks good anyway. Great visuals there by John Byrne. Again, looking, John Byrne's art, just that. I'm wondering, I'm thinking this Shiramonte guy, Frank Shiramonte, if that's the way you pronounce his name, thinking he was learning either to rein back his inks or to make Byrne's art look even burnier. Okay, not Smurfier, but Byrnier. There you go. And so, just book is looking very Byrny, and that's a good thing. As you got lots of great fight sequences by Iron Fist here and by Colleen. Colleen gets almost a full page there, showing her parries and thrusts and everything. And it's, just great, great stuff. And I love the narration during the fight scenes. They've been going on at this point. They've been going on in the Iron Fist comics quite a bit. And I imagine this was also done in the Marvel's Kung Fu magazines. And it may have even been done in Charlton's Yang and this kind of thing. But it says that, like, just a little bit of narration here. First move, a Tsuki strike to one man's throat. Colleen pivoting to meet an overhead Nagatana attack before the first man's unconscious body even hits the ground. And so, it goes on from there and just explains everything she's doing. Then she's faced with Angar, and Angar's like, impressive, lady, but you got nothing on me. I'm going to turn your brain to jello. Now, that's a paraphrase. But then as he's about to, she goes into action, doesn't show. This is great. This is great, a great example of leaving it to the reader's imagination. I love it. Very, just very classic as far as not having to see Angar's guts spilled all over the place. You have her exclamation at the flashing of the sword. Angar saying, hey, you missed me. You didn't even hit me. And then he realizes that the scabbard is off the sword. Blood on the sword. And he's like, oh, okay. So this is great stuff. Great stuff by Claremont and Byrne. And then you have an interlude there with scene change with Misty. And Misty becoming more of a, important character and just some good characterization. You have some great ads. I love these classic Marvel ads. I was a Marvel kid growing up. I wasn't a DC kid. And so the DC ads don't do this for me, but when I see ads like this for the, the Spider-Man album, Reflections of a Superhero, and the Blacklight Marvel posters and such, I just, it's nostalgic. I remember flipping through, I remember getting so many old Marvel comics, especially Iron Fist, from the what we called at the time the Red Barn Flea Market in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, right down on, well, some people called it the Sand Springs line. I just always called it Charles Page Boulevard. And I remember flipping through the comics and seeing these ads and thinking, man, I wish I could order that. I wish I could order that. I wish I could order that. But for whatever reason, except for Sea Monkeys, I never asked my parents to order anything for me through the comics, okay? And I didn't do it once I had my own money. I didn't see fit to do it myself. So there you go. And then we have the return of the Bruiser from Marvel Premiere number 25, Khumbala Bey. And I must say, he looks a lot better than, you know, the even younger John Byrne being inked by Al McWilliams. This is an impressive looking Khumbala Bey. It doesn't look as fat. It looks more formidable. But as Iron Fist explains, he's just a fair martial artist with slightly above average strength. And he's just a bruiser. And so in pretty short order, but in an entertaining montage there, Iron Fist just schools him. It is class in session and very quickly class dismissed on Khumbala Bey. And then it's the main event. Excuse me. Iron Fist versus Master Khan. And I won't give too much away except to say something significant happens here. On this last panel, Khumbala Bey binds Iron Fist with the Rings of Sidorak. What is that what they're called? Crimson Bands of Sidorak. Yeah, how could I forget that? How could I forget that? That's a Marvel magician staple. Okay? The Crimson Bands of Sidorak. And so, as a kid, before Marvel cartoons and such as that, I always pronounce it Sidorak, but my understanding is it's Sidorak. And I learned that from, I believe, from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. So it has to be true. Okay, so in the midst of their dialogue, of Master Khan's, it's not just his monologue, because Iron Fist is talking back to him. Master Khan opens a portal to Kunlun, and where he shows Iron Fist the deception of the Dragon Lord. Okay, I always forget the Dragon Lord's name. To UT. Okay, all right, not UTI. UT. YU-TI. So UT, the Dragon Lord, he reveals his corruption, tells the story of his deception and corruption, and I forget, he murdered one of, I think it was his father. I don't remember who he murdered, but he murdered a relative of Iron Fist's. And there you see Iron Fist's face, how this emotionally has devastated him. Okay, but something happens here that is very significant and isn't really, not much is made of it. He's in the Crimson Bands, he's bound by the Crimson Bands of Sidorak. And Master Khan is grilling the Dragon Lord right there in front of Iron Fist as the Dragon Lord tells Master Khan, "Outworlder, be silent." That's, you know, and Iron Fist is still, you know, UT never killed anyone. And, you know, he continues to, Master Khan continues to hammer at UT and finally just says, you know, can you deny it to your brother's son? Deny it on your honor as a warrior. And then at that point, and here's what's significant and wasn't made much of, Iron Fist, through the power of his chi, breaks the Crimson Bands of Sidorak. Now, that's significant in Marvel lore, in Marvel magic. I'm probably going to do a short on that. Did you know that Iron Fist once broke the Crimson Bands of Sidorak? I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe one of you will do it before I do. But then he destroys Master Khan's portal. Okay, there it is. And which releases a lot of energy. And that's pretty much the end of Master Khan's plans at that point. Because even from a distance, or I should say, Colleen, in another part of the complex, she sees the destruction. She's like, my goodness, what did Danny do? You know, and so the destruction begins, and the pull of the portal begins as you know as it's having a little meltdown there, and Khan is pulled into it, even as Iron Fist tries to save him. But of course, that's not the last we see of Master Khan. I think we know that. And at the end, Colleen has some hard feelings toward Danny about the mind meld that they shared the issue before. By the way, that term is used twice in here. Now, they could have said psychic connection. They could have, Iron Fist could have referred to when he touched her mind, but they used mind meld. That is a mid-70s reference and shout out to a 60s TV show, Star Trek, and because that's the Vulcan mind meld. And so it ends for a change. It ends not on a cliffhanger, but on kind of a sweet moment there where they decide, okay, we're still friends, but there's some uneasiness there. Okay, so anyway, that kind of for me explained the closeness. I never really understood. I didn't know the background of the closeness between Colleen and Danny, even though Colleen and Misty were the ones who became romantic. So anyway, great issue number 7 of Iron Fist, 1976. And by the way, I also started noticing in this issue, I think I really start noticing the symmetry between, and the great working relationship between Claremont and Byrne that led to such great X-Men issues. Byrne doesn't get on X-Men at this point for about a year from now. And so plenty of time to work on his craft and to learn to work with Claremont, which of course they went on to do great things in X-Men. But that's it. That's Iron Fist number 7. Hey, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, especially comment. And anyway, I'm always grateful for you watching Forthcoming Commentary, and we'll see you next video.